All right. Would you rather dress like a pirate every day or talk like a pirate every day?
I would rather talk like a pirate every day because dressing like a pirate, I had to wear high heels that were super uncomfy.
Okay, good choice. Good choice. All right, here's the next one. These are going to be tough, Lee. All
All
right, this one
That
is.
one already texted me.
Would you rather see the Raiders go to the Super Bowl this season or be able to attend every Raiders game this season?
I'd rather see him go to the Super Bowl.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
The reason I say that, it's like, I mean, I like going to the games, but the fans, the crowd, sometimes they get out of control. It can be too much for me. I mean, in fact, I just had this conversation the other day on the golf course with a buddy of mine about just going to the game, and there was just drunk people and fights, and it's like people just take it too seriously. And I can sit in my own house and enjoy it. And I would definitely go into the Super Bowl would bring me joy, and then I could crow about it online. So
there you go. All right, Raiders in the Super Bowl. We're manifesting, right?
Please. Well, 3-0. Last time we did it was 2002, 2003 Super Bowl when we were doing Pirates.
Oh my goodness.
So, it's time. There you go.
All right, it's time. All right, Danica.
All right. Would you rather have Manischewitz with every meal or eat matzah with every meal?
Definitely matzah because Manischewitz sucks.
Next one.
What?
That's my answer too.
Manischewitz is like, oh my God. I'd rather have just plain grape juice or like some good wine.
I was like, I mean, at that point, you're just drinking like melted gummy bears. It's
the great
so
thing about
sweet.
Pesach, the great thing about the Passover Seder, for those of you that have never attended, is drinking the whole glass is mandatory. It's instructed in our book. The Haggadah says, you drink the whole thing. You don't sip your wine, you pound it. Yeah, right. So you might as well have some good wine.
Right, they're like page 5, finish your glass. Page 7, refill your glass. Wash your hands a little.
Even if it's a Reform Haggadah, you're still pounding that wine.
Oh, I'm obsessed. I cannot get enough. It's a problem for me.
Oh, so you love your Manischewitz.
Oh my God.
I'll remember that.
If I could have a brand deal, hook me up with the Manischewitz guys, because I am obsessed. Yes.
I think you could get it. I don't think they really have that many influencers out there peddling the Manischewitz.
Shalom. Call me up. Let's go. I'm ready. Oh, I love it. All right. Here's the next one. Would you rather?
I mean, also Manischewitz, because I think they're the ones that make the gluten-free matzah now. So
the company survived for a long time. There was the old joke, how do you make Manischewitz wine? Kick him in the balls.
I love it. I haven't heard that one. That's surprising. I haven't heard that before. Oy vey. Okay. Would you rather live on a deserted island with Kevin McNally for 1 month or try to find parking in New York with Jason Alexander every day for a month?
I like both these guys a lot. I love them both. I would hang with Jason because I don't get to do it enough. He's one of the coolest guys I've ever met. Kevin is too, by the way. We all know that. But I spent 5 years making movies with Kev, and I still see him a lot. But Jason just is he's an uber mensch. He's just a class guy. I would run into him after I did Seinfeld. He's the kind of guy that I'm walking my dog down the street and he's driving. He pulls over and goes, "Hey, I saw you walking your dog. How are you?" Or at an art opening, his wife is an artist, and my wife too, and I would go to a couple shows and run into him in LA. And he'd be from across the room. It's 15 years later. So they're both beautiful people. I would be if we have a full bar, it's probably McNally on the island. But if we're boozeless, I'm going definitely with Jason.
All right. Good answer. Good answer. Yeah. There's no wrong answers here. All right. Next one.
All right. Would you rather be in a Julie Taymor Shakespeare production or go back in time to see an original show at the Globe?
Always rather do it than watch it. So Julie Taymor for me all the way.
You
have a favorite?
Yeah.
Of hers?
In Shakespeare, I mean, I'm actually a fan of the histories.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think Henry IV Part 1 is one of my favorite shows. I love Falstaff. I like Hotspur. There's so many great characters. We once did I did a lot of Shakespeare, like I said, in college. And one time we did Henry IV Part 1 on the Santa Monica Pier.
Ooh.
A bunch of my college friends. And we had these like rocks that were, I don't know what they were made of, paper mache. And the wind started blowing, the set started blowing away. It was hilarious. All of a sudden, from in the wings, we cut to the sword fights. We cut like an hour off the show. Good night.
Sweet.
Yeah. But Julie is such a brilliant director.
Yeah.
She's so creative. She was out here before she went and did Lion King. She was doing theater out here in Los Angeles. And so always been a fan of her.
Right.
Not to say I wouldn't want to go back and see an original show, but I don't know if I really want to be in Elizabethan England and hang out.
Yeah, just, I mean, just food everywhere.
Yeah.
Come on, Plumman. All right. Okay, here's the next one. Would you rather live in the Waterworld universe or live in the Star Trek universe?
Star Trek.
Okay.
Star Trek, yeah. I mean, for me, Star Trek universe is one of the coolest universes there is. And I'm not a Trekkie or Trekker, as I've heard that they also like to be called. But I think it's one of the first worlds where it was multicultural. It was less, I mean, there was Shatner's character, I guess, a bit sexist. You know, he always had to kiss the girl. That was his deal. But in terms of what the crew represented, from Sulu to Chekhov to Uhuru, we're covering it. This is, in fact, we should all be more like Star Trek.
Yeah.
I mean, that to me is the message. I said that on Twitter. I was like, the world should be more like Star Trek. It would be a lot more of an even playing field based on your competence and stuff. As long as you're not wearing a red shirt, you're going to be okay.
Oh, boy. Oh, no. Well, you know they're sending Shatner to space?
He's a cool guy. I mean, have you met him yet? Ever in any of your cons?
Yes, I have.
In passing, yeah.
I'll have to send you the picture I have with him.
Yeah, definitely. He's so funny, though, because sometimes he's the nicest, coolest dude, and then other times he's just like, I don't know.
No, he is literally going to space in 2 weeks. They are putting him in a spaceship, and he's going to space with Jeff Bezos on his.
He's doing the Bezos thing. Oh, cool. He's a rad dude. I mean, he's done a lot for charity. He's still out there. Is he 85, 86?
90.
He's 90 now.
Is he 90 now? Wow.
90 years old.
Yeah. So
I mean, I gotta say, I much prefer Shatner in space to Bezos in space. Like,
yeah, I kind of have a big problem with that. Honestly, there's so many. I mean, it's $125,000 to go to space for like 15 minutes. Even that group that they said were the one that just went up, the 4 astronauts that just went up.
The civilians, yeah. Mm-hmm.
But they were professional astronauts. They just weren't Army or Navy or NASA.
Oh, right.
Because they trained forever to do it, you know? So, I mean, to me, it's still cool, but I think it's like, I mean, we're still far away from that idea of, I don't want to go to Mars.
I'm content right here.
It's a long way, and and then there's no way back. There's not a lot of quick flights. I don't know. It seems
I know, but I hear they have Spirit Airlines. I don't know. Can you imagine? You can go to Mars, but only on
the
Spirit.
water world. And the water world universe has no water. You're covered in oil.
Yeah, I don't want to drink my own pee. That was my big takeaway from that movie.
I can't drink my own pee. I mean, only if you have to. I miss Dennis Hopper, though. Dennis Hopper.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Danica, I think this one's you.
Yes, it's me. Okay. Would you rather wear a facial prosthetic for every performance or drink 5 glasses of milk before every performance?
I mean, I'd have to go milk.
You're going to go milk? Okay.
Oh, man.
I don't want to, but the thing about the prosthetics is, depending on what it is and who's putting it on, how it's being applied, it's pretty taxing. The Tellurite makeup, like the one you have in the picture there, that was a brutal makeup. Gluing
It looks great. You know?
No, it's a killer mask. I mean, the artistry there's no question what goes into it is absolutely brilliant. But I just don't like having my lip glued on something and my eyelids glued. And it's like, you know what you're getting into. So I'm not going to be somebody that's like, oh my gosh, this is uncomfy. No, I get into it. You know, the transformation is magical. You look in the mirror and you're like, oh, who is that guy? That's the same thing, you know, even in Pirates, that was the great part of the process of getting into the makeup, helps you get into the character. changes you. But it's challenging. Spirit gum sucks. I'd rather do the milk.
All right.
Can I have milk at least one or strawberry? I'd mix it up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And we can even get you lactose free. So, you let us know.
Almond milk, cashew
yeah.
milk.
Yeah. Well, I
soy,
mean, and that's not really, I'd go with that for sure. And gallons.
Yeah.
The prosthetic.
Calcium. Woo! All right. Lee, we've reached our final one. Here it is. Okay. Would you rather? This one's okay. Star in the first play you recall reading, or star in a reboot of the first film you fell in love with.
Jude's comment.
I think I would rather star in a reboot of the first film I fell in love with.
Which was?
Well, that's going to be a good question.
Okay.
I'm going back to my childhood, and I would say, like, one of my favorite movies growing up, I used to love the movie It's a Mad, 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 Mad World.
Oh, yeah.
And I used to love the movie The Great Race. You ever watch that one with Jack Lemmon?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'd love to play the Peter Falker or the Jack Lemmon in that. I think that would be a great movie right now, actually, The Great Race. It was an old Blake.
Didn't they do Rat Race? I think
Rat
that they
Race.
did remake
That's
it, but that was
right.
like 20 years ago.
Was that a remake? Could have been.
But it was
With,
20
Mr.
years
Bean.
ago. Oh yeah, Mr. Bean.
Well, Mr. Bean, I guess, had some of that. But I mean, just the fact that, I mean, the Tony Curtis, the whole thing, it was just like, to me growing up, that was like, the movies still had the mystique when I was a kid. I mean, to watch like Pat and George C. Scott, or some of the legendary, The French Connection, Hackman, and those are led to the Godfather. Love to be in any of those. Those are all the movies that I fell in love with. Those early. That's when I really started falling in love with the movies. But I mean, for me, I wouldn't mind being a reboot of Adam 12 either. It's always one of my favorite shows. I like the old cop shows, like Jack or Dragnet. You ever watch Adam 12? That was
Dragnet.
I like that.
I've never even heard of it.
Well, Adam 12. Adam 12 was
11,
it was like a half-hour cop show. About a day in the life.
I haven't heard of that.
But it was. I
feel
love
like
it.
my parents were really into that.
This was the 70s, though, you guys. This was even probably late 60s, early 70s. Yeah.
Huh.
Times were simpler then. Everything was simpler then, you know? Back then, I really believed everyone was bigger than life. Once I got in the business, I had a great experience, you know, in the business. When I was at UCLA, one of my classmates was Richard Olivier, whose dad is Laurence Olivier, the legendary Sir Laurence Olivier. And yeah, so this is not a name drop. In fact, it's a reverse name drop, because the UCLA allowed us to do this thing called a noon miracle, where we could rehearse for as much as we wanted. And then one Friday a month, they would give us a theater. And we had one performance. We had an hour, and they would do lighting, sound. You could have a full tech show in the theater. It's called a noon miracle. And Richard directed a noon miracle that I was in, and his dad came and saw us. So I got to go to lunch with Sir Laurence Olivier.
Oh my God.
I'm 18 years old. Danica. And I'm at the Westwood Marquee outside UCLA. And we sit down, and I'm like, I don't know, what am I going to say to him? And he's like, Sir Laurence, he goes, call me Larry, dear boy. All right, Sir Laurence.
I can't.
I can do it. But then the waitress comes over, right? Like, remember, I'm 18. She goes, what would you guys like to drink? And I was like, I'd love a gin and tonic, figuring there's no way. I'm 3 to you. And then Larry Olivier goes, gin and tonic. What a marvelous way to start the afternoon.
Oh my God.
He demysticized this whole game for me. He was just like it was like hanging out with my cool uncle, right? And so from that day forward, I've always looked at my fellow professionals and the people I look up to as just regular folks that got a good break. They got a cool job.
Right.
And the ones, it's always the secret to dealing with like the super famous is treat them like the regular person.
Yeah.
That's all they want. You
Kiri
know?
agrees.
Yeah.
The dog agrees. Well, I guess on Kiri's note, Lee, this has been such a joy.